So in your journey, and you're involved with so many cool stuff right now. It's super exciting to see the stuff that you're involved with. Real estate investor, homes loans, you're involved with as a lender, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I escaped my 9 to 5, so you're educating and teaching other people of how to do it too.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about when you took the leap and how you did that? Because that's the one thing, right? Is humans have always been afraid of the unknown. That's why people get afraid at night, right? When it's dark, you're like, oh, I don't like it. I can't see what's out there, right? Yeah. So they don't like uncertainty. They don't like variables that they can't control, right? So how did you conquer that fear? And if you want to share a little bit how you got your jump start.
Yeah, I love that you said that there's all this uncertainty, and I'm no different.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of uncertainty, I'm scared too. I'm not this like fearless, right? It's not being fearless. So for those listening, I don't want them to get it mixed up. It's not being fearless. It's having courage.
Yes.
But it's also being smart and mitigating risk.
Yep.
So there are a lot of unknowns when you're investing for the first time. So your job as a brand new investor is just to figure out what those unknowns are and make them known.
Yep.
That's it. It's just making the unknown known. So it's almost like what you said. If you were in a dark room, you're scared. So your job is to turn on as many lights as possible.
Right.
So if construction is a dark room for you, turn on the light. Talk to contractors. Talk to other investors. Walk through their properties. Do a property tour. Do all of those different things. And that is how you get to turn on the light, right? Metaphorically speaking, around that. So it's not to be fearless, and it's not to be like brazen and just jump into a situation that you know nothing about. That is dangerous, right?
Yep.
And they say that real estate investing is risky. It's not that it's risky. It's that the investor is being risky.
Right.
But if the investor is being smart and they're educating themselves and they're networking with people like yourself and they're really learning what it is that they need to know, then they get to clarify a lot of things. So for my jump, right, the fear that I had to overcome was, how do I know that this deal is going to work?
Right.
And it was real simple. I said, okay, what's the purchase price? What's the rehab? And what do I need it to appraise at in order to pull all my money back out?
Right.
And so I had all those numbers. And then I asked a question, really simple. What if I don't get that number? And then the question is, okay, so if I don't get that number, I might get 5,000 less.
Yep.
Does the deal still work? 10,000 less. Does this deal still work? And I just kept going like that. And then I said, okay, what else? What else might go wrong? I might not be able to rent it for this much.
Right.
Well, if I rented it for $50 less, would I get a renter then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just keep cutting it down. At what point does the deal explode? And if you're okay with the probability of that happening, then go for it. You know? You did your best already with all the numbers. And then, here's the most important part. Share your analysis with someone who knows what they're talking about.
Right.
So that they can give it a second look to make sure that the analysis you did was correct. And then if they also agree and they're in the business, then you have a solid plan. And I think that takes away a lot of the fear.
Absolutely. Because there's so much gold to unpack here. Because the first thing that a lot of people think is that what entrepreneurs do and what investors do are risky. But if they actually look at the inside and look at how, for example, you just analyze that deal and broke it down and look at probabilities, the same way with a good business plan, right? And most people will tell you this. When you write down a business plan, you already know it's not going to go as you've written it out, right? You could chuck that out the window. So because you're planning for different scenarios and different things that happen, and you see different things unfolding, you look at the uncontrollable variables, you're like, okay, so what if this happens? What if that happens? So eventually when you do go ahead and do it, you've done all of this due diligence, and as you mentioned, mentors, coaches, somebody to look over it, that essentially it's not risky because you educated yourself, you did your homework, you did your analysis, you looked at all these different risk factors. So what is perceived to be a risk on the outside, on the inside, is it like, no, that was not risky. We kind of knew what we were in for, right?
Yeah. This sounds like, so I recently heard about this concept called a Mongolian toilet.
Yep.
Right. So the Mongolian toilet is where the Mongols, 100 years ago, they went to Russia. They saw a toilet
Yeah.
for the first time.
Right.
And it flushed and everything. They're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So they take the toilet and they bring it back to their house, and they don't have the plumbing.
Right.
So imagine what happened when they used the toilet and it didn't flush. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will look at a deal.
Yep.
Right? They'll look at the deal and they'll say, wow, okay, that person did that. I'm going to do the same thing. But they didn't educate themselves.
Right.
And then all they did was they saw that I bought a property, I fixed it up, I refinanced out, and now I rent it out, and life's good. That's all they see.
Yeah.
They didn't see the analysis behind the scenes.
Right.
They didn't see the plumbing.
Right.
Right?
They didn't see anything underneath.
So then what do? They go out and they just buy anything.
Yep.
No analysis. They fix it up. Now their acquisition plus rehab is over the ARV. They don't get their money back out.
Right.
The deal doesn't cash flow, and then they go broke.
Right.
And then those are the same people who will go around telling other people real estate is risky.
Right.
Right? But it was them. It was them who was risky, not the real estate.
Yep.
Yeah, because you'll find a million examples where people make a lot of money in real estate.
Yep.
So that's the thing that listeners, you guys have to be careful of. It's that you're going to get advice from everybody.
Right.
And that advice sometimes isn't good.
It's amazing that a lot of people have opinions about business and about real estate, but these are actually not people in the game.
Right.
It's people on the sidelines. So to your point, absolutely.